Hello! Welcome to the first episode of Gameprism, a little show that talks about everything video game related in a different way. But before we start, I need to clear a couple of things. This program will contain reviews, but not of new games, because if it did, these new games would be over a month old by the time a review came out. The games reviewed here will also be of various genres, from platformers to FPS games, from puzzle games to Pong. And for last, the episodes will be likely of not so high quality. So, let's see what we have for today. The essential knowledge about this year's E3. A look at 3 classics and the current state of FZero. Now, let's start with E3, the biggest gaming event of the year, this time happening exclusively in virtual form. Why is that? Well, the current health situation worldwide is as you can see, but the switch to virtual form also brings something more. It will likely be available to watch worldwide. Plus, it's free. That's right, this year's E3 will be free to attend for everyone. A plethora of companies will attend as well, such as Nintendo, Microsoft, Sega, Take-Two, Gearbox, Capcom, Square Enix, and more. So if you're a fan of any of these companies' products, or of video games in general, from 12th to 15th June, go on. Now, there are many classic video games, but today we'll touch upon these 3: Breakout, Tetris, and Pong. Let's start with Breakout. Released in 1976 for Atari 2600 and arcade machines, the rules of it are simple. You have a ball and a paddle, and you have to break blocks that cover the top third of the screen with a ball. Its precursor was Clean Sweep, a relatively unknown 1974 title that followed a relatively similar premise. Relatively unknown because it doesn't have a Wikipedia article. Back to Breakout. As weird as it might sound, Breakout influenced the world's first successful microcomputer, Apple II. There are many more things this little game has influenced, but you can also play Breakout right now in your browser. Remember that Google Easter egg? Unfortunately it's gone now, however, it has been archived through lgoog.im. Now, Tetris. Developed by Alexei Pajitnov in 1984 for the Electronica 60 computer and available on over 65 platforms nowadays, it became one of the greatest games of the early era. Its influence on popular culture stretches beyond just video games. In the game, you move tetraminos falling from the top to create horizontal lines that will disappear once formed and place all blocks around them lower. All that thanks to Pajitnov's childhood love of pentominoes. It was then ported to IBM PC and then to everywhere, from consoles to other PCs and even to 4x3 television sets. The rights to it were granted to Microsoft, then Nintendo, and then back to Pajitnov, where now it belongs in the safe hands of the Tetris company, co-founded by him. Final classic, Pong. The first commercially successful video game. The first game developed by Atari, originally made for arcade machines, it can now be played on likely everything. The first game developed by Atari, originally made for arcade machines, it is now one of the most popular games ever. A simple simulation of table tennis, it was a great success when it was first made, and still remains a major element of the video game industry. And now we can play it for free on your PC through ponggame.org. So that's the classics. Now let's move on to FZero. FZero, a series of futuristic racing games created by Nintendo EAD. The first game of the series was developed in 1990 as a launch title for the SNES. It's cited as an inspiration for such titles as the Eterna USA and the Wipeout series. But why is it so unpopular now? Well, the answer is simple. Obsolescence. The last game of the series was made in 2004, and there hasn't been a game in the series ever since. However, elements of the series are present in other Nintendo games, such as Mario Kart or Smash Bros. And with no news of a game on the horizon, this is all we have for now. So this is it for today's edition of Gameprism. See you next time.